What's going on, everybody? My name is Dan and this is Stout Gaming. Today we are going to have a bit of a double header in the GLDL. Sorry Matt, the MDL commentary is going to be coming later. I've been very busy recently. So this first set we are up against Sam Wakeman and Wakeman VGC. And over these next two sets I need to win one of the two to lock into the playoffs. So basically for Sam, I decided to go for a bit of a riskier strategy that revolved around my Hail mode that beats everything on his team but Corviknight, and hoped the fact that Arcanine had been my kill leader scared away the Corviknight. It did not, so I'm in a bit of a rough position sort of off the bat here. He also has enough things that sort of punish the fact that I brought double Intimidate that makes Intimidate not the easiest thing to bring, so Arcanine and Crocodile were going to be my best answers for Corviknight. But they can't really come super efficiently, especially not as a lead, because I don't want him to lead Corviknight. And although Gothitelle is usually a trapper, its competitive sets here are probably scary. I really don't like Sam's lead card, 2 out of 10, really low effort. I'm sure he'll work on that in the future once he develops enough skill to actually beat this game. But moving on, yeah, this is why I can't lead Intimidate. Especially on Crocodile. Arcanine's a special attacker because I'm okay with getting an Intimidate on the Corv with Arcanine because it doesn't really do anything. But I have an assumption that this is a competitive Gothitelle, and this is a really bad matchup for me. Like, if this thing has Body Press, it KOs basically everything that's on the field. So looking at ways to potentially deal with it, I think Aurorus is going to get attacked first, potentially, although he might want to go after the Sand Slash. So I just want to see if I can chunk it with a Meteor Beam. That might give me a decent shot, and then I'll do a little bit of damage to either the Gothitelle, or I might be going for the Ice move to finish off the Corviknight. No, I'm going to do damage to the Gothitelle. Fake Out makes sense. Iron Head into Goth, chunks it, and then Body Press will kill something. Yep. And I didn't see the Aurorus flinch, so that lets me know about the speed tiers, which is important, so Aurorus cannot stay in front of Corviknight ever. And then here, I need to send in an Intimidator, but I can't send in the Crocodile for obvious reasons, because I don't want it to have the Intimidate bounced back at it. So I confirmed the Gothitelle is competitive, that's good to know. And then I see that it's Adrenaline Orb as well. So he's all in on beating Intimidate, which, kind of sucks for me. But I'm pretty sure the Sand Slash still outspeeds the Gothitelle, which is all I need to guarantee that KO. And then I can just probably launch a Heat Wave here. This battle happened a little while ago, so I'm not exactly sure what it did. Oh, a Max Flare might be my play. Yeah, Max Flare, then Corv, and then KO the Gothitelle. That makes sense. And then the Heatmore comes out. I'm not exactly sure what the Heatmore is going to be doing in this position. So I feel like I'm in an okay-ish position, but I still don't like it very much. This Corviknight's going to be an issue for my team, but now I'm able to max an Arcanine and potentially chunk it some. Iron Head, not great into that Heatmore. And then I reveal Akka on the Corv, which is annoying, I'm not going to lie. It will allow it to survive that attack. But now the sun is set, and I've got Arcanine in the sun, which is decent into a lot of his team, actually. Because I expect that this goes down to a Body Press this turn, which is why I was okay getting rid of the Hail, because it does. But now I'm going to have to deal with a -1 Crocodile, because the Ockerberry left the Corviknight alive, which means I'm in a worse position. Yeah, and with White Smoke, he's got 3 things that you know, either mitigate or punish Intimidate. So that's half his team, even if Garchomp and Coco are both physical attackers, which Coco could be physical or special at this point. It's not a position that I very much want to be in. But depending on what his last Mon is here, this isn't the worst position for me, because Darkest Lariat ignores my own stat drops, which is why I ran it this week. So that Protect is very nice. And then we get Overheat here, which, good to confirm. That means it's got to be Scarf, because my Crocodile's fast enough that it should beat that. That KOs through Protect, obviously. So Darkest Lariat will come on out, and I'm feeling like I'm in decent, not great position here. Because if he's got, you know, Garchomp or physical Coco in the back, I'm probably going to lose. But if he's got special Coco, which looks like it has a decent matchup in my team, I could definitely win this one. The Gothitelle can just come out and fake out the Crocodile, and Heatmore would be able to pick up the KO on it, or the yeah, that's probably actually the play for him. And then my thought process here is, if I can just ignore the Heatmore, it's going to be Scarf locked and do a not very effective thing at -4. So maybe he's got a special attacker in the back. I can get some max Quake boosts going. I've got some potential if that's the case. But like, this is the easiest fake out Overheat play. And then I avoid the attack. So I'm still going to flinch, and it's going to be conceptually the same thing, except I buy one more turn of a Overheat not going into the Arcanine. So at +1 special defense, there's a chance that I beat Coco in the back if it's special, because I might survive 2 attacks at +1 even from max, and then I might be able to 2-shot with Scorching Sands. Obviously those mights are, I'm not feeling very strongly about my position here, but I think I've got a chance, which is what I was playing for this endgame for, because I was in a bad position coming out of the opening. So I'm just going to ignore the Heatmore here. Maybe he missed targets, goes into Arcanine, and then I'm able to pick up a KO on this Coco, but Coco reveals Protect, which is frustrating to say the least. So now he just gets a little bit of free trip from Scorching Sands, or he gets a free trip from an Overheat onto the Arcanine. Still not going to do a lot, but it is a way to beat a crit and a sash, so maybe technically that was the correct play, even if I'm not a huge fan of it. Here I have to decide, do I want to risk calling out a set, or do I want to just Scorching Sands immediately? I know I lose if this is a physical set, because I've got a especially bulky Arcanine now at +1 special defense. So if he one-shots me, I know it's physical. If I'm able to KO him here with Scorching Sands, I'll know it's special. I'm just checking a couple calcs here. I think the play is actually Heat Wave in the Sun, take out the Heatmore to reduce the chip damage that thing can do to me long term, and then try to pick up a KO with Scorching Sands next turn onto an onto a Coco if I'm able to survive multiple attacks. It's a very, very low probability play, but it is the highest of my available probability plays. So Max Lightning's going to suck. And it's physical or that crit. So here I was able to confirm that it is physical Coco, and he's able to take game 1, but we'll move into game 2, and I've got some decent knowledge of his sets now. So I'll be right back with game 2. Okay, so looking at game 2, this matchup is very clearly not in my favor at this point. I basically have to make a call here, and I think he switches off of Corviknight Gothitelle this game. I'm going to make that call, or at least he switches off of Gothitelle, because he displayed the competitive and adrenaline orb. I don't think he would try to do that a second time, especially because a Delmise lead here into that same lead would look pretty good. So, I'm going to be going with Arcanine and Indeedee here. I don't know what I want in the back. It could be Krook Delmise, or it could be Hail. There are a lot of things to consider here. Or it could be, I could actually see myself actually doing a hybrid of it in retrospect, like even something like Krook and Aurorus. Sandslash definitely needs Aurorus to be functional though. But I do decide to go with Hail. Maybe I can clean up in the back, and this makes sure that I don't just lose to Garchomp. That's the thing about his team, is I basically need to bring my Hail mode every game, which means he has a free Corviknight matchup into 2 of my things. But if I don't bring my Hail, then I just lose to Garchomp if that happens to come. So this matchup is pretty tricky, and he does go with the Gothitelle Corviknight, so I'm immediately out of position because of what this Gothitelle is going to functionally just start doing to me. So we'll get Intimidate being actively bad for me, like the worst possible way. There is an argument that Justified or Flash Fire Arcanine could have come this week, I guess. Probably not something I would typically do, but against as much counter Intimidate as he has, it might have actually been better. So now we are going to be looking at a +2/+1 Goth just off the bat, and there's not a lot I can really do in this situation because I can't snarl it down without competitive activating again. I could wisp something. I can flare the Corviknight and then try to survive late game. Or I could Darkness the Gothitelle. And here the play is probably knowing that that Gothitelle is going to max and just start killing stuff to try to stall out the max by flaring the Corviknight and forcing him to win late game against my Hail mode in the back. Heat Wave is also an option here because it will trigger the Occa Berry and allow me to flare next turn pretty safely with the Follow Me, because I am faster than the Gothitelle, I believe. Oh wait, no, it got the +1 speed. I'm probably not faster than the Gothitelle. Yeah, this is rough all around for me at this point. So, unless it has dark coverage, I'll live something. It does have dark coverage though, so Indeedee's going to get erased, even at +1 special defense. Arcanine's not looking great here. We're going to trigger Occa Berry. And now potentially get a Max Flare. Got some chip on the Gothitelle, which is decent. Eating a Brave Bird isn't the best thing in the world, because now I don't know even if I max if I survive from Gothitelle. I don't want to put Aurorus in front of the Corviknight either, so basically what I need to do is max the Arcanine, hope it survives to kill the Corviknight, and then get an attack off with either Aurorus or Sandslash into Gothitelle. But if this Gothitelle can just take down the Arcanine this next turn, I'm in a really bad position. It doesn't really matter if it's Sandslash or Aurorus here. It's conceptually the same thing. In retrospect, maxing last turn was probably the play, but here, maxing here was probably the play too, to make sure that, to give myself the best chance of surviving. Like, if he just targets into the Arcanine spot here, there's a good chance I lose on the spot unless I'm able to KO the Corviknight with a max Hailstorm from the Sand Slash late game. But Corviknight going back, I've suddenly got some life. And he does have the Garchomp, so I'm glad I brought the Hail mode. Sand Slash protects. Darkness comes out. And here I'm able to get off a little more chip on the Gothitelle, a little bit of chip on the Garchomp. Like, I'm still not in a great position here, but now I'm not threatened by the Corviknight, and if I can get up Hail, I could actually do really well this game. I think a max Hailstorm might KO the Gothitelle or a max Steel Spike, and if I switch the Arcanine to the Aurorus to get the speed boost up, I could outspeed it. I could also just KO the Garchomp and get the Gothitelle the next turn, but that's actually probably safer. But I do need to get in the Aurorus to set up the Hail, and then Gothitelle will go down unless Gothitelle actively kills the Sand Slash this turn, which is a hard decision to make because he's switching into the Corviknight. So Arcanine is the natural target. But I will be fast enough to get something off. And I also don't know how much damage this will do to the Corviknight, so this will tell me a little bit about this Corviknight set. I'm back up to a decent position here. It could obviously be better, but it could be much worse than it is. In retrospect, I feel like Sam did misplay with that double switch. But that Hailstorm there does a decent amount. Like, just a little less than what I would have needed. Mindstorm is going to hit the Aurorus hard. But now I'm faster, so I can KO this Goth next turn with Sand Slash, definitely. And then Corviknight will go down to the Arcanine before it's able to KO the Sand Slash, and I should win this one. Yeah, Sam definitely threw this one. Like, he had all the matchup advantages he could want. But is Arcanine getting punished for having Intimidate again? But here it doesn't matter because Gothitelle shrinks. And then we just either Hailstorm or Steel Spike that slot and KO the Corviknight. Steel Spike is probably a little better. And then to KO the Corviknight, I'm actually very tempted to click Snarl here because it's got 5 more accuracy than Heat Wave. But this will deal more damage if Garchomp switches in. Snarl was correct. Like, that was just wrong. Because this is going to kill the Goth. And then I'd rather have the guaranteed KO with these, or the 95% chance to KO with the Snarl instead of the 90% chance with the Heat Wave. Like, that was just a misplay on my end. But it doesn't matter. I get bailed out fine, and then I'm just going to be able to take out this Garchomp next turn with the Sand Slash, and that's an endgame that I like every time. So I will be back around in a few minutes with Game 3, but I will let the rest of this battle play out. So moving into game 3, again, substandard matchup. He has shown a little bit of obstinance with Gothitelle and Corviknight, and I think my best potential matchup into those two is going to be the Dhelmise. And that also doesn't just lose to Cocothievul if it's next to Indeedee, but I mean, it's pretty bad in Cocothievul if it's next to Indeedee. But if I've got the Aurora Sandslash in the back, then I actually have some counterplay to Cocothievul, but it gets, if he leaves Cocothievul and has Corviknight in the back, like, this is very bad for me, but it beats everything that isn't that. But I also think that that was his most common potential matchup, but he's been leading other things. Okay, so this is step 1 on it being a very bad game for me. The play here is always to Max Phantasm the Coco slot and follow me with Indeedee. Indeedee will go down to some combination of Thievul and Coco into that spot. Then what I'll need to do is to get in Sandslash, because at -1, even if the Coco maxed, it'll be at about half HP, -1 defense. Sandslash will outspeed it if I put in the Aurorus, and then it will be able to pick up that KO, and I will have Aurorus and Sandslash against whatever he has in the back, but I will not have access to Max, but his Max will also be gone, and Thievul will be on the field. That's complicated, but that's what's going through my mind at this point. And basically, we're going to see that play out, almost exactly like I thought. And I know that I'm just in a really bad position if Corviknight comes out, because with Brave Bird and Body Press, it kills everything on this team if I don't have Max available, which I will not, given the current setup. But it is also my best chance to beat it. Coco maxes. It's physical, so I know it has access to max airstream, which is sort of what I expect here. If it does max airstream, that puts a wrench in my plan. But I might survive a max airstream on this Indeedee because it is max defense. It's kind of a bad situation all around, honestly, but Dhelmise will do a little bit of work here. Follow Me comes out. And Thievul Howls, I know it's physical, so I don't know if an Airstream at +1 will KO this Indeedee, and if it doesn't, I've got a shot. However, this absolutely does. So I know now that I need to go with the Sandslash Aurorus play. There's not really a good way around it, because now I definitely go down to Foul Play and Airstream or something similar to that. But Sandslash should pick up the KO on this Coco, and it will be faster than it. In my mind here, I'm going through a couple permutations with this Aurorus, seeing if maybe a Blizzard set could do something here. Maybe pull attention off the Dhelmise, pick up a KO. But Snarl just off of Thievul would just be way too bad for me in this position. So, need to go Sandslash. And effectively here, I've just got to drill run the Coco, get in my speed boosts, and hope that I don't see Corviknight come out in the back. Again, without Arcanine or Crocodile, I don't have a good way to hit Corviknight. Crocodile had Thunderfang to hit it if I needed to, but Crocodile was also just very bad in this matchup, based on what he brought. If I led Crocodile here, it would have been phenomenal, but that would have been a really hard read based on what he'd been bringing. Like, if I lead Crocodile into Corviknight and psychic type, whatever its name is, Gothitelle, it's super bad for me. But we've got a shot here if this Coco doesn't protect. The Thievel's still going to be really annoying, but Foul Play comes out, that would have chunked the Delmise a lot. But I'm able to take out the Coco here, and we're in a game at least. Like, it could have been worse. The first few turns played out basically exactly like I thought they would, which doesn't mean they played out great, but it's about what I thought they would be. So Corviknight comes out, and I'm going to have some issues. I basically need to call every protect correctly on this Corviknight to have a shot. I need to call my protects and his protects correctly. If he's going to body press, I need to make sure I have to call the target and then hit it with the off target, and then I can't let this Thievel just hit stuff down, chip stuff down. So the first body press I'm going to call into the Aurorus. And the Corviknight protects, which is annoying, because an attack into Thievel here would have been pretty nice, but now Aurorus has protected, and it's pretty annoying. So I see that he's a Snarl set. It does way more than I would like. Sin slash a special attack basically becomes negative at that point. Like, I think I actually heal if I start attacking with special moves. So here, the play is, do I protect with the Sand Slash, or do I just go for Icicle Crash flinches? And honestly, Icicle Crash flinches seem like my best play. Maybe the play is Icicle Crash Meteor Beam. Maybe just try and get out Delmise, see if I can live something. That Delmise switch actually feels really bad in retrospect. I should have gone for Icicle Crash Flinch into Meteor Beam and see if that picks up the KO, because it would be a neutral Meteor Beam. Because here, I just let Delmise die to Thievel for free. But I was trying to predict a body press, and yeah, I don't know. I think the flinch play might have been a higher percentage play, and he did end up flinching. Because now, like, even if he was going to body press that slot and did 0 damage, right? Now I'm in this position anyway, and what do I do in this position? Just lose to a foul play body press and need another flinch? Like, yeah, that absolutely should have been a Meteor Beam onto the Corviknight. Or maybe a Blizzard to go for a freeze if I didn't like the calc odds with Meteor Beam. But here, I can think maybe he targets incorrectly, and I can get a attack off. I don't know. This feels like I'm in a losing position because I didn't go for that Meteor Beam play. If I had gone for the Meteor Beam play, I had some potential. So Corviknight protecting isn't the worst thing in the world. That's gonna suck. Yep. Delmise is really high attack, so that was absolutely going to kill from that range. And then into the protect. Yep. And now we're in the same position as earlier, where I need to go for the flinch play, except I don't have Delmise in the back. But I will have a higher KO probability with it if I do get the flinch, so there is some semblance of an argument that this was the correct play, but I don't agree with it in retrospect. Here, I could consider going for a protect call, because he could just foul play the Sand Slash, and if he just double targets into the Sand Slash lazily, I could have an out. It's not looking great. Icicle Crash maybe. I'm sort of at a loss here. Like, Protecting Sand Slash gives me a bit of a shot, I guess. Meteor Beam into Corviknight actually could work if he targets incorrectly. So this gives me a chance to win if he screws up. He does not screw up completely. So now I don't have Meteor Beam anymore, but Aurorus will be at +1. So a Blizzard play out of Aurorus, I mean, he's now very, very cleanly got Foul Play into Sand Slash, and now I can't get 100% accurate Blizzards. And I'm slow. So, yeah, this is GG, because Foul Play into Sand Slash should pick up the KO at this range. Corviknight should just always KO Aurorus. There's not really a way for me to play around it, so I'm just going to click Blizzard and hope he screws up somehow. But no, that's very simple endgame for him. I screwed up with that Aurora switch, and I will end up losing this game and having to win my second set. Even if I don't win, there's a chance to make the playoffs, but I'd rather lock it in on my own accord. So I will be back with set number 2. Okay, so I need to win this set. Just to guarantee myself in the playoffs. I brought a team that could beat, hopefully, his fast mode and his slow mode, although it's better against his fast mode because I thought that was more likely, but Sasori brought a hard Trick Room team. Like, a very hard Trick Room team. So I've got a lot of things to consider about this team before I decide what to go with. Wishy-Washy is potentially a problem. Wishy-Washy is actually potentially the biggest problem for me. So Magneton feels pretty necessary, assuming he's just going to set Trick Room turn 1 and I can't stop it. Having Sun Up feels like a good option because a lot of my answers to his Trick Room mode involve Fire-type moves. And then that also weakens the Water-type attacks coming out of Wishy-Washy. So Scarf Magneton setting Sun feels pretty decent. Indeedee feels okay. Zapdos doesn't look great into what he has, neither does Crocodile, so these 4 are probably right. Slowbro is going to be super clutch on this team because with Room Service at min speed, it goes down to a stat of 20, whereas min speed Escavalier has a stat of 22. So I will be underspeeding Escavalier in Trick Room, but outspeeding it outside of Trick Room, as long as it's min speed. So that's sort of the plan for this game. It's Slowbro centric game plan. So seeing what he leads, and I have the Arcanine Magneton, I can't stop Trick Room. There's no way I can stop Trick Room. It's just going to happen. So I want to deal as much damage as possible. I'm going to Flare Blitz the Bronzong, force him to redirect it, because Flare Blitz is going to do more damage to this Togetic in the Sun than a Wild Charge would. Wild Charge is basically only for Wishy-Washy. Like, it doesn't do more damage than Flare Blitz typically, even when it's super effective, because super effective makes its base 90 effectively base 180, and Stab makes the base 120 effectively base 180. So in the Sun, Flare Blitz absolutely does more, except to Water types, where Wild Charge does more. And outside of the Sun, as long as it's a one-time multiplier for super effective, then it's neutral in terms of total damage. But that was a pretty easy call. Let's get the Magneton out of there this turn. I don't want to take a free shot on the Slowbro, so I'm just going to switch in Indeedee. Hopefully Arcanine just goes down this turn to something stupid. If he redirects, fine. If he doesn't redirect and doesn't kill Arcanine, then Bronzong has a decent shot of dying. But I feel like this is a comfortable position for me because either Arcanine goes down, or now that he's using Mystical Fire, Bronzong goes down. Like, he's got to choose. And he's using Meteor Beam, so this is a Power Herb Meteor Beam special set, which will be good to know for future games because then Snarl looks a lot more attractive against it. And Meteor Beam will connect. It will take out the Arcanine. I will be able to get in the Slowbro for free. And this is pretty much ideal for me. Slowbro under Trick Room is sort of what I wanted against his Trick Room mode. I don't think he's got a great answer to it. The play here is always max Flare the Bronzong, force the Togetic to redirect, because even if he max guards the Bronzong, it just does the same thing the next turn. And then redirect with Indeedee, because it's a +1 Bronzong, and if he redirects with Togetic, that could be annoying. I guess a potential play is actually to max guard the Slowbro, assume an attack is going to go into it, and try to kill the Togetic with Expanding Force. I also am pretty sure Slowbro survives something here. So Mystical Fire could be a play. Actually, yeah, I think Mystical Fire is a decent play to go for. In retrospect, do I like the Follow Me play better there? The Follow Me play is safer, but it also puts me in a position where I might have two targets that I want to hit Slowbro with next turn, and I can only hit one of them. So there are ways this goes poorly for me. Like, if he has an attack that hits the Slowbro hard, that could almost definitely put me in KO range on a lot of things, and then Slowbro might be having to try to pull double duty too much because the Slowbro has to KO the Togetic. But it will also get a Mystical Fire under Sun out to get it back down to neutral damage, but it will get one attack off at +1 still. So Togetic goes down. Rockfall comes out, and I just don't want this to hit Slowbro too hard, and it absolutely doesn't because it goes into Indeedee. So, well, I'm not 100% convinced my play was correct. I am convinced that play wasn't correct because Slowbro is absolutely the bigger threat here. Like, now we've lowered the special attack there. And while Sandstorm is up, that's not the worst thing in the world for me. The Wishy-Washy's out, and I have some decisions to make now. A Max Grass KOs a lot of Wishy-Washies, but if it's super bulky, maybe not this one. Helping Hand Max Grass should get that KO. I have 2 turns of Trick Room to work with, and he's shown that he wants to target the Indeedee for whatever reason, so I'm going to rely on him to do it again. And now I have to decide if I want a Helping Hand or if I want to go for Mystical Fire. But my belief is he will go for this Indeedee, so if I'm going to use it, I better just Helping Hand to guarantee that KO on the Wishy-Washy. Otherwise, the Indeedee does nothing this turn. Man, Slowbro looks so derpy. It's fantastic. So this should take out this Wishy-Washy, which it does. Nice. And then if he takes out the Indeedee here, it'll be close to ideal for me. If he takes out the Slowbro, I could have an issue. Or if he hits the Slowbro, I could have an issue, but now it's minus, so it's going to be less of an issue. Alright, Indeedee goes down, and then Slowbro's left. So, if he has Escavalier in the back, I feel really good about my position. I don't know what he could have in the back that would make me feel bad, actually, but it is Escavalier. So Magnacon comes out, and I have to decide, do I think he's going to Rockfall? Because if I think he's going to Rockfall, then Sunny Day might be correct, but if I don't think he's going to Rockfall, Thunderbolt might be correct. And looking at it, what I think is going to happen is Escav's going to go down. Then I think he's got a decent shot to pick up a 2-shot into the Slowbro, because the Bronzong will outspeed the Slowbro outside of Trick Room, which happens next turn. So that means I will have a few turns with this Magneton to try to kill the Bronzong, which means Thunderbolt Chip's going to be important, because I will be able to launch 3 Thunderbolts at it before he's able to KO everything, assuming he's able to 2-shot Slowbro and Magneton, because there's a very decent chance that Slowbro unmaxed goes down next turn to, I think that's a Shadow Ball. So basically, what's going to happen is Bronzong's going to shrink. It's going to KO Slowbro, and I'll get a Thunderbolt off. Then it's going to attack into Magneton. I will survive no matter what because it's sturdy. I will get another Thunderbolt off, and then the third turn I will have one more Thunderbolt before I die. So if I can 3-shot this Bronzong with Thunderbolt, I'm safe here. However, if I do not, I am considerably less safe here. But I get my quick draw, so it doesn't matter, because I just pick up this KO and get all 4 KOs with Slowbro. And that puts me in position to take it into Game 2, and if I win one of the next 2 games, I lock myself into a playoff spot. So I will be right back with Game number 2. So, in Game 2, basically, I know I need to do something very similar. It's going to be Slowbro-centric again. The Arcanine lead felt right, but because I know it's Special Bronzong, I'm just going to Snarl this time. Magneton feels like the right option. I don't necessarily need to set Sunny Day right away this time. I don't know. I feel like because my team is very focused on his fast mode, my slow mode matchup isn't the best in the world. But Magneton and Arcanine is a decent start, and then I know I've got late game Slowbro, which under Trick Room beats most of his team. So I'm going to go with the same setup. I did consider Crocodile. I also considered Zapdos a little bit. But these 4 felt right, and then the same set of leads also generally felt right. Like, it's not like this is the most obvious play in the world for me, like, far from it, but I'm okay with leading and going with what I've had so far. So the Togetic Bronzong comes out again. This feels like a Flash Cannon Snarl play. Again, this will put some chip on the Togetic, because I actually don't want it to die this turn, because it being there prevents the Escavalier or the Wishiwashi from coming in, which are much more threatening to my team than Bronzong is offensively. So I'm okay with this. Thunderbolt might technically be the better play than Flash Cannon, because that helps for a possible Wishiwashi switch. But that's a little bit of a negligible difference, because I'm just launching one, he's absolutely following me with the Togetic, and then I'm switching this Magneton out next turn. So again, I get some chip. I'll get about the same amount of chip on both. Actually, no, I'll get more chip on the Bronzong than last time, because I didn't chip the Bronzong last time, and a little less on the Togetic, but taking the Bronzong to -1 is really gonna neuter its offensive potential. Bronzong's already not the strongest offensive Mon, and it needs to get to +1. So this looks like a decent setup for me. Like, I am very much thinking that this is going to be similar. He's probably going to Mystical Fire the Magneton, and I don't know. Overall, I think this is fine. This looks like a Slowbro play again for me. But the Wishy-Washy is coming out, and if that's the max option, we might have a different set of issues. But if my Arcanine is staying alive, I think I'm okay with this, because he doesn't know I have Wild Charge, and I've concealed that fact pretty well so far. Like, I don't think he one-shots the NDD with Wishy-Washy, even at max, although he might, because honestly, Wishy-Washy is a beast, and he does just break my Sash there. But if it's a special Wishy-Washy, he definitely doesn't anymore. But now I absolutely go for a Follow Me and Wild Charge play. And he doesn't really have great counterplay to it, because if he follows me, I kill the Togetic, and then I've still got the Arcanine, and I don't think the NDD goes down necessarily. Like, Max Liquidation might kill it, but if it's special, it definitely doesn't go down. But we have Togetic protecting here, which is obviously phenomenal for me. Like, I don't know. That just felt like a weird play on his end. Togetic either has to, like, because I don't target the Togetic there. I take the Wishy-Washy into out of schooling range, which is great, except he's got a berry, so he will get back into schooling range. So Wishy-Washy still is competent, unfortunately. I would prefer it to have lost all of its competence there. I am very impressed with this Wishy-Washy, actually. Like, it just, I don't know. It's annoying to me, but it used Scald, so I know it's special, so it's at -1, so I don't know. I'm not scared. Like, would Helping Hand Scald kill NDD? Yeah, but here I just sort of get a Wild Charge at something. If he follows me, I don't know. This just generally feels like I'm in a good position. Like, Togetic switching out, Escav comes in. Like, if this is a double switch, it could be something, but the Wishy-Washy protects. Like, yeah, he absolutely survives a turn without taking any damage, but that's also just wasting a turn of Trick Room. And now this Escav is going to KO the NDD, right? But this Wishy-Washy probably doesn't KO the Arcanine if I max it. Like, I'm pretty confident with that, in that statement. So a max Arcanine here could work, or I could put in a Magneton. Yeah, that's what I end up doing, is put in a Magneton, sack it, and save Arcanine, like, as a max option late game after Trick Room expires. Because when Trick Room expires, Arcanine puts in some work here. Like, NDD absolutely 100% just goes down right here. But when Trick Room expires, if I set Sunny Day or just start randomly T-bolting things, I don't know, that feels really good. Like, I'm just winning at this point. Like, I've got to make sure that I play safe to not lose. And at -1, this Magneton might not KO every Wishy-Washy at 50%, but it's enough of them that a Thunderbolt play is pretty safe here. He can't get this KO because I'm sturdy. That does a lot of damage. It was a crit, though, so it ignores the -1. But now Trick Room's over, and Magneton's the fastest thing on the field, and Arcanine gets to come in. So with Arcanine coming in, I can just max Flare the Escav, or max Lightning the Wishy-Washy. I think max Flaring the Escav is correct. And then he's got to find a way to set Trick Room. Because if he can't set Trick Room, then I automatically win. And if he does set Trick Room, he doesn't know that I have Slowbro. I mean, he probably assumes I have Slowbro because there's no reason for me not to. But I always take out the S-Cav here because late game that Bronzong's going to lose to... late game his entire team loses to Togetic. Pretty hard. Generally speaking, I am happy with my position here, although, like, there's worlds where this is better, but there are also worlds where this is much, much worse. But I do think that Arcanine is in position to pick up 2 or 3 KOs, and then Slowbro will be able to clean up the game. Like, that's just my thought process. Because here, what he's going to do is he's going to let the S-Cav go down and send out Togetic. And then at -1, I basically need a crit off of Magneton to take out the Togetic. Which, fair play, that's a good set of choices there. Thunderbolt does decent chip to the Bronzong, even at -1. Max Flare. Yeah, S-Cav's gone. So now I've just got a Max Arcanine, which provides a threatening amount of damage into a lot of things, but he does get the Togetic in, and he should get Trick Room up. The question is, what is he going to do when Trick Room goes up? Because Wishy-Washy probably doesn't KO the Arcanine in Sun from this range. He will have a Meteor Beam play at some point. Like, his play here, actually, his best play might be follow me and then Meteor Beam the Arcanine with the Bronzong, try and take it out, and then have a really low HP Bronzong and Wishy-Washy against Magneton that's -1 and Slowbro. That still doesn't feel great, but it might be his best play, and then try to get a low roll on the Magneton and get the Wishy-Washy to survive, because some Wishy-Washys from that range do survive a -1 Magneton. I'm obviously thinking very hard in that spot, but that's because I'd forgotten that I'd had a feint from that the Indeedee had already fainted. I thought about switching an Indeedee there. But Thunderbolt comes out. Do I get the crit? I do not. So Togetic's just going to eat a Max Flare. And now, if Bronzong Meteor Beamed the Arcanine, I think Sasori would have a chance, but this Trick Room will should just about lock it in for me. Because Slowbro in the back beats what he has in the back. Pretty comfortably. He's got to choose. Well, actually, he can probably pick up a. No, he's got to choose what to KO here, because his play here is Meteor Beam into Arcanine almost every time, I think. But if I Max Guard, then I'll have Arcanine sitting next to Slowbro, because he does KO the Magneton. Like, if he doubles into Arcanine, that's actually better for him than picking up the Magneton KO. But if he doesn't double... Well, no, that's probably not better, because I might just get the KO on the Wishy-Washy. He needs to KO the Magneton, which he does. But now I get the Slowbro in under a circumstance that I like it. So, this endgame I still need to navigate. It's not like the easiest endgame in the world, but I do have an advantage because I've got the quote-unquote fastest thing on the field that hits both of his things for super effective, and the weather's in my favor. But if he protects one, attacks the other into Slowbro, and I call my splits wrong, there is a world where I lose this. But if I wild charge the Wishy-Washy, basically that means he has to attack the Arcanine because the Bronzong probably doesn't have a... Well, Bronzong might just be able to cleanly kill it. But a Flamethrower into Bronzong feels safe because I know it's not heat-proof because it was levitating above the grassy terrain last game. I mean, I know it is levitate because it's not heat-proof. So, Wishy-Washy protecting should lock this up for me. If I had attacked into the Wishy-Washy and then let Bronzong attack into Arcanine, much less certain. But here, I will get at least 2 attacks into this Wishy-Washy and it will die. So, Wild Charge picks up the KO. Grass Knot might pick up the KO depending on its bulk. Grass Knot comes out. It does not quite pick up the KO. Wishy-Washy could kill Arcanine here, probably, but it decides not to, revealing its last move, and then I will be able to pick up the KO here. So I will beat Sasori 2-0 and lock up my playoff spot, much to Toxic's chagrin. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back pretty soon with the playoffs. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Bye.